The Raptors have gone through Vince leaving, they've gone through the Wizards sweep, and they've gone through LeBronto. But on Wednesday, they had to face a 10-year-old. Welcome to Hoop Talks. Hi guys, I'm Noor Zainab, Jelani Goodridge-Reid, Justin Pooni, and I know you're feeling pretty good today. You're feeling pretty
Friday.
happy.
Why would I not be feeling good?
Sun's out.
Sun's out.
It's not just that. I know you're going to beat around the bush, but it's not just that. The Raptors lost to DeMar DeRozan on Wednesday, and they lost their playoff chances. They're even playing advancing chances because they even had they won, they had to go and face Larry afterwards, which I don't know if they actually would have even won that game. I don't know if I have any confidence left anymore in this team, but so much happened. So much went down, and we're going to get into all of it. But the thing that I think we got to focus on first and foremost is just the game itself, because we saw exactly what we know the Raptors to be this entire season, where they come on, they have a great first 3 quarters of a game, and then right at the fourth quarter, I don't know what it is. Something just, maybe it's in the water, maybe it's in their routine. Something just doesn't click in the fourth and everything evaporates. They let go of a 19-point lead, and they only made 18 of 36 free throws.
What percentage is
at
that?
home. 50%.
Quick maths.
Terrible.
Quick maths. Guys, what the hell happened against the Bulls?
You know what? You go first, my friend. Go first.
The Toronto Raptors. I don't know where to start with this team. Oh, wait. I thought I said this back in December when I knew this team was not that team, okay? They're not playing for anything in the Eastern Conference. So I was like, what's the point of playing for a play-in spot? What, you want to bring people to Jurassic? You want to have a little Jurassic Park setup while everyone was at the Jays game, actually? Or do you want to have a play-in because you want people in the crowd, even though the prices are all over the place? There's no point in going for that play-in spot. There's no value to that. So that's why when you're looking at the trade deadline specifically, we could have started fresh. We could have been like, you know what? We know what's going on here. Let's just start from scratch. No, they wanted to play for this glorified 9th seed. And I'm so confused by it. It makes no sense to me, right? Why would you do that? You want to bring in Jakob Poeltl? Thank you. Okay, anchor inside. Where was he? Where was he defensively the other day? Okay, so it makes no sense to me. Me, Justin, Noor, you came on the train a bit late, but you've been here.
She wasn't really on the train.
I was trying to be positive. I was trying to find a good thing.
But what have we said all year? The Raptors are just not good enough. They're not good enough. So if you're talking about the game specifically, really, 18 missed free throws, honestly. And you wanna blame DeMar's daughter, who played the best defense we've seen since 09 through 11, Dwight Howard.
No, she was Gary Payton 96.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Give her the defensive player of the year.
Absolutely.
But again, you cannot tell me in a game that matters like this, play-in, playoffs, whatever, you can't miss 18 free throws. This is not a professional basketball team.
I got a stat.
Yes or no?
Yes, I got a stat for you guys. Did you know the Raptors missed the most free throws in a playoffs, play-in type of game since 1969?
Why did you say it like that?
1969.
That hurts.
Yeah.
Look, the Toronto Raptors, I think you actually dubbed me as Tank Commander earlier in the year.
Yes, I did.
Right? Did I not say put a stick of dynamite in this locker room and blow it up? I saw Sid Sixero the other day say that on Breakfast TV. Sid, if you want to steal my lines, just ask me first. But
yeah, he's definitely watching this
look,
show.
The Toronto Raptors are mid. They're mediocre.
They're literally mid.
They're mid. Actually, they're below mid. Now they're 41 and 42, so they're a bit below mid.
Game.
But look, this roster, you saw a prime example of what having I'm not saying exactly means a superstar, but he has superstar capabilities, right? We saw what a superstar capable player can do when the going gets tough. 30 points in the second half.
Who was that, by the way?
Zach LaVine.
Thank you.
Your guy.
My guy.
DeMar DeRozan showed up,
He did.
right? He did.
Second half.
Patrick Beverly hit one shot, but it was a three-pointer, and he made it.
It was a big shot.
And he also ran by Bobby Webster and said, I knew you guys were effing trash.
Unbelievable.
Right? He's also the king of the play-in tournament. So
He is.
Yeah, he is.
He really
but
is.
sticking with the Raptors here, guys, let me just pull up their cap numbers for this year, okay?
Oh God.
Here we go.
So this year, Pascal Siakam made $35 million. Fred VanVleet made 21. Gary Trent made 17. OG made 17. That's fine, right? Next year, Pascal's still at $37 million. Of course, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr. are both going to opt out of their deals, become free agents. Probably going to get, 25 plus for Gary and probably around 30, maybe a little bit more for Fred VanVleet. OG Anunoby is extension eligible, which would probably mean he'd probably bump up to 25 in around the same age range as Gary. Pascal Siakam, if he makes all NBA,
That's your boy.
he could get a 5-year, $290 million deal.
Really?
$290 million for Pascal Siakam. Now, if he misses, right? If he misses all NBA, which I think he will, he'd be eligible for a 4-year, $192 million deal. That's a boatload of money, almost $50 million a season. If he decides to play out this next year, he could sign next year for a 5-year, $250 million, $49 million
That's
deal.
a price breakdown.
Guys,
We're cooked.
I think
this team has no financial flexibility. They have no draft capital coming up. They might lose Fred VanVleet. They might lose Jakob Poeltl. They might lose Gary Trent Jr. for nothing after Masai played his cards out at the deadline. And now what are they going to do?
And they also might lose Nick Nurse.
Yes.
And I kind of want to go back to that actually, because you made a point about not having a superstar like Zach LaVine. And I know a lot of the blame is going to be shifted through the front office to Nick Nurse, to the rosters, players, everything. But I will say only just the one thing to Nick Nurse's defense is when you have a roster full of guys that your front office built to make a defensive team, let's be honest, their criteria was very straightforward. They wanted 6'9" wing defenders. And when you're bringing in defenders, even through Scotty, even through Pascal, we know how fast Pascal has climbed the rankings of an NBA team and even just being an NBA player. But when you're being brought into the league and your mindset is defense on the court, you can put up a great game the first 3 quarters, but when the fourth quarter comes through and it's time to put the ball in the bucket, you're going to revert back to what you know, and what you know is defense. So what the Raptors need, and I feel like this sounds like, oh yeah, bucket getter, shot chucker, whatever. I don't care. Give credit to ball, don't stop. You need to have a shot chucker on your team. You need a bucket getter. You need someone who can put the ball in the bucket. And the Raptors have 2 guys for that, Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr., both who happen to be streaky and inconsistent. And you also can't rely on them in the moments that really matter. So, and then let's go back to Nick Nurse too. If you have a roster like that, that's built around defensive ends, it's your job now to set up plays and run offense for your team. And I will say his other problem now as well is the comments that he made before that Philly game, where he brought up his future, which never needed to be brought up. The question wasn't even about what's going to happen about his contract. He did that to the national media with no Raptors reporters asking him anything. And once the reporters got to him and said, actually, Nick Nurse, I want to get clarification on what you meant about your future. And we need to know this because you're making these comments when the Raptors need to win. You're getting them off course where their mindset needs to be, let's get the next game. And we saw this morning their new article released saying that Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, and the organization is not very happy with Nick Nurse about making those comments. Mm-hmm. And in your guys' opinion, we know his contract's coming up. He's made it very clear. Is there a chance the Raptors don't bring him back, Jelani?
I mean, throughout the year I was like try to keep him, right, because he's a good coach, and I don't think it's all his fault this year.
No.
Look at the roster he's been given, right? What can you really do with it? But as we go forward, as we continue to see the reports, as you continue to see what he's been saying, and just the vibes in the locker room and on the court, it seems to me like it's time. I don't know if it's time for a new voice or just a completely new look to this group, but I think that starts with the coach, and it might be time for him to leave. He might be the guy that wants to go. I don't think it's the organization that wants him to go. It might be Nick that wants to go. In that case, you'd probably say, okay, so who's going to come in, right? There's obviously names out there. Atkinson, you're looking at him. You're looking at Udoka. Those are names that have been floated around, but you're probably going to go in-house. If Nick is not going to be here anymore, you're going to look at Adrian Griffin. I think he's capable to, be a guy that can lead a locker room. And Earl Watson, he's been a coach, remember Phoenix. So I just think that, he's been here so long. He's been here longer than those years, as a head coach. He's been here as an assistant. So
Yeah.
I think it might be time.
I think when you look at it, they talked about it all yesterday about they want the culture, right? Well, the offseason is the perfect time to rebuild that culture. I think Nick Nurse, Masai Ujiri have built this culture, and I think they need to. Honestly, they always say like it's easier to fire a coach than all the players. Well, you have the perfect time now to get rid of a bunch of players on the offseason. I say you keep Bobby. Obviously, Bobby and Masai are going to stay, but then you keep Nick Nurse and you change the culture of the players around him, because we heard all about, Nick Nurse was asked yesterday about players wanting to get new contracts and how that affected the locker room, right? That to me is very interesting. And I think this might be kind of out there, but I think there's a greater chance Fred VanVleet stays in Toronto because he is more of a leader than Pascal Siakam. I think Pascal Siakam, there's a higher chance he's not wearing a Toronto Raptors jersey than Fred VanVleet.
I would not be
Oh
surprised by
my
that. I would not
God.
be surprised.
I have so many questions about that, and I think that's the reason why this offseason that's going to be coming for the Toronto Raptors and the fan base is about to be super stressful. We're going to have every single notification turned on for every reporter, every road shams, even the Toronto Raptors, whoever covers them, because you've got about 3 players heading into free agency, and you have a coach who's might not be happy, and the organization might not be happy with him either. So we have so much to cover. Even though the season's over for the Raptors, it's not over at all. This might be one of the most chaotic summers that I could probably remember in Raptors history, going back to Kawhi having to leave in that offseason. So you know where to get all the latest scoops. We'll be back no matter what, starting Monday. Thank you for watching Hoop Talks.